Poke Ramble Podcast.
Welcome to episode 47 of Poke Ramble Podcast. We are back and we're talking about all the things that we've missed. Kind of. Yes, welcome to the Poke Ramble Podcast. It's been about 4 or 5 months, question mark, but we're here, we're back again, talking about all the things that you love and we love and the whole world loves. Talking of love, we're joined by someone who loves everybody. It's the Battle Frontier brain himself. Amit, how's it going?
I'm good. It's good to be back.
Oh god, it feels, it's certainly experience. It certainly is an experience.
I forget how much fun I have just worming away before the podcast, trying to work out random facts and tidbits and everything else for the show.
Yeah, I will say that you have been giving me and a few other people some very disturbing facts that I pray no one else has to hear.
Listen, I've had no outlet for this stuff for a while. I'm looking forward to episode Machamp down the road. Stay tuned for that.
Jesus.
But yeah, it's good to be back.
Talking of episode Machamp, what episode is it today?
We are on episode Parasect. So welcome to episode 47, and let's talk about Parasect. So Parasect is based on a cicada nymph, which is a creepy bug. Go Google it if you want to. Real creepy. But with a parasitic mushroom that's taken over. So unlike Parasect, who was insect with spores, the spores are now in control, and Parasect is fully enslaved to its parasitic host.
Just sounds like capitalism, doesn't it? And like
I'm not touching that.
Never mind.
Interesting Pokedex entry for Parasect comes from Pokemon Stadium, which is one of the few references in the Pokedex to the real world, where Pokemon Stadium says the spores Parasect produces are sometimes used as medicine in China.
Oh damn! So name check it as well.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I've got a fact about this Pokemon.
Here we go.
Do you know what its favorite city is?
No.
Paris.
I mean, I don't know why I didn't see that coming. Well played. Well played.
Oh god, this was a mistake. Okay, we're going to go into our first segment. Yes, it's that segment that we call, oh my god, there's been news whilst we've been away. Pokemon Evolutions has come out of nowhere, surprisingly. So for those who don't know, Pokemon Evolutions is going to be an 8-part series with different Pokemon stories from the Pokemon world. What was your immediate reaction to it?
I was hugely excited. I remember Pokemon Generations was the 20th anniversary run, and that being so much fun. I like the fact that I've always enjoyed when they build on the game canon, because I feel like it just brings it to life that little bit more. And although the anime does a good job of that, it's not a one-for-one parallel. Characters are just slightly different.
The anime is its own sort of story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas one of my favorite things about Generations is when I was watching it, I was like, yeah, this is the Lysander or the Agatha that really ticked me off.
Like when you're in that city with Lance and he uses a hyper beam against that one bloke to destroy a wall, you get to see that animated and it's so much more brutal.
Town heading into the Lake of Rage. It's good.
So they've confirmed that this is going to be an 8-part series, and it's going to be focusing on each region. So we've got the episode titles and dates here. So we'll start with September 9th, which is the champion in the Galar region. We kind of saw a bit of that from the trailer, which was basically Leon fighting up against Eternatus. And then we've got the Eclipse, which is September 23rd. We can guess that's going to be you climbing up that mountain towards the end of like Sun and Moon. You got October 7th, Division in Kalos, which is basically oh wow, wasn't expecting this. So brief pause on the podcast. Rahula Hoops just raided us with a party of 7, and like I was hoping this would be a very quiet podcast to ease myself back into things, but clearly it's not going to be. Thank you very much, Rahul.
Hyped.
So we're just talking about Pokemon Evolution. So October 7th is going to be the Vision. So that's basically when you're in the laboratory, breaking out Yveltal / Xerneas for the first time. October 21st is the plan. Now, I don't actually know what this one's going to be about. Do you have any sort of speculation on the Unova episode?
So we know it's going to revolve around Getsis. So my hope is that it explains how he came to understand the phenomenon of Pokemon fusion.
Oh, okay. Because there was a still of what's his name? Alder with his Volcarona, yeah, against Getsis. So that's going to be quite interesting. We got December 2nd, The Rival, which looks like it's Barry. And we got a still of Barry holding onto his Prinplup. So that's, again...
Do you reckon that episode will be published late?
Oh, I see. I don't think so.
That's a joke that players of Gen 4 will get.
Yeah. December 9th is The Wish. Now, I don't know if you saw the background of one still, but it was May in the foreground, but in the background, very background, right at the top, Zinnia was there. So it kind of sounds like it's going to be following the Delta episode that we got in ORAS. Yeah. Pretty cool. The one I'm most looking forward to is The Show in Johto, which is going to revolve around the Kimono Girls and Lugia. We know the Kimono Girls to be in Ecruteak City and kind of like the law keepers in that sort of region, so that should be interesting. And lastly, Leaf is getting some love, which is quite surprising to me, in the quest in Kanto, which sounds like is just going to be based her going on her journey to become champion. So yeah,
I guess in all of the anime canon to date, even Generations, we've never seen Leaf, so that's exciting.
Yeah. So my question to you now, because I've already said my most anticipated one's going to be The Show, December 16th. Which one are you looking forward to most?
To be honest, I think it's probably Gen 3. I'm a big fan of Rayquaza. I love May. I love Brendan. And I'm very curious to see how the Delta episode plays out, because I think the biggest surprise for me playing ORAS was it just came out of nowhere. Like, there was no warning and no kind of build-up. It was just like, oh,
the fact that you're like, you wake up from your room, you're like, hang on a minute, my mega stone's missing. Like, who's stolen my mega stone? It turns out to be Zinnia, and it's very, very dark as well. Something we're not too used to in the Pokemon universe is having these darker sort of stories.
But I also hope it gives a more comprehensive ending for Zinnia as to what she went on to do afterwards.
Okay, you want a bit of closure.
Yeah.
Fair. So yeah, that's Pokemon Evolutions. I'm hoping it's going to be a bit longer than what Generations was in terms of, episode length. In terms of the overall animation, the animation looked incredible. I will say, if you look at stills of like Leon, he looks a bit weird, but you know what? When it's like all in animation rather than still screens, he's probably going to look phenomenal. So it's going to be fine.
It is a slightly different art style to anything we've seen before, and that's always a good thing.
It's basically JoJo's Bizarre Adventure when you look at Leon. Yeah. Cool. So that is the Pokemon Evolutions news. Have you got anything you want to say before we move on to the next segment?
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll move on. So you want to be a Pokemon Masters? Yes, it is back. And really, I mean, the sync pairs have come. They're still here till the end of the month. I think everyone kind of knows the lowdown of it. Lily's pretty much the best ghost type pair we've got. And with Reshiram is just amazing, incredible, and Steven's just underpowered, but he looks very cool. I wanted to sort of ask you, in terms of the second anniversary, what did you think in terms of the sync pairs we got and everything else around it?
I like that we're getting to the stage. I like that we're getting to the stage where they're really focusing on the partnerships between trainer and Pokemon. And although a lot of the early sync pairs were, quick, famous trainers with their
signature Pokemon,
actually there was not a huge amount of, even from a design perspective, like just in terms of the characters in the earlier like seasonal pairs and things like that, there was not a lot of connection between trainer and Pokemon. And I think Signasuits were the first thing that really kind of brought that to life. Signasuit Elisa has obviously got the Rotom zigzags, Signasuit Cynthia with the scales of Komodo, and I think like this just builds it to the next level where the entire outfit is so perfectly inspired by the Pokemon that they're partnering. And for me, like, that's the exciting bit, is like it really is the pinnacle of trainer and Pokemon coming together.
I was so surprised to see Steven had a a shiny Rayquaza just out of nowhere. It was fantastic. I lost my mind when I saw that. I just like I actually have something to say on this as well. He actually references Alan from XY and XYZ because he talks about battling with a trainer with a black Charizard, which kind of makes me think: are they going to be reaching into the like sort of like anime sort of like canon and bringing them to Pokemon Masters at some point?
Can you imagine if Alan and Mega Charizard X were a sync pair? We now have more Charizards than we can fit into a single team.
Oh, I love it though. I love it though. We've got a question in the chat from Dark Magician Chaos Girl, who asks, "Do you think we'll get more evil teams in the game?"
Well, you had an exceptional theory relating to Pokemon Go and the introduction of Hooper. Can I talk about that? That's not spoilers, right?
Yeah, so I was talking to Hammett the other day, and something very interesting in Pokemon Go happened, where Giovanni just disappeared from Pokemon Go. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows, if it's permanent. But what's interesting is the next sort of story chapter for Pokemon Masters is gonna revolve around this Giovanni, Rainbow Giovanni, and all of a sudden now there's Team Rocket grunts all over Pasio. So it kind of makes me think that we're not going to get a new team, but it's rather going to be like Team Go Rocket, maybe from Pokemon Go, and now taking over Pokemon Masters, which sounds insane when you actually talk about it.
It would be. I mean, because Giovanni gets away at the end of the episode, the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon episode, the Rainbow episode. It would be really, really cool to see if this Giovanni, this Rainbow Rocket Giovanni, is the same across the three games, and these are just his different attempts at conquering the multiverse. Whether or not Pokemon Go and Pokemon Masters exist in the same universe is by the by, but Giovanni having the ability to jump to, between them, maybe he is the continuity between the multiverse. That would be very cool.
that's just insane. This is blowing my mind right now. But I'm loving what Pokemon are doing at the moment between games. Cross sort of like promotional things.
Yeah, I think it works really. I think it works very well because I think they're starting to develop slightly segmented fan bases and to encourage people to, or just to remind people that those other things are still there. I think crossovers like this are a really cool way to do it.
Yeah, like we said, with Steven mentioning Alan from the anime, and now we've got, potentially this Giovanni from Pokemon Go. I'm excited to see what the future is going to be and what we might get for their, the 2.5 year anniversary, perhaps.
The future's gone.
No, I was just going to say, my other question was, I was talking to Mecha about this, and we obviously see there's a Mega Mewtwo Y behind Giovanni, right? Yeah. Do we think that's going to be a new sync pair for Giovanni, or is it going to just be basically an upgrade of what we've already got?
I assume it's going to be an upgrade of what we've already got, because the Giovanni we have is the Rainbow Rocket Giovanni, not the base canon Giovanni. Mm-hmm. So there isn't scope for a second Rainbow Rocket Giovanni, or maybe there is.
Maybe they'll be like, I don't know, he'll have like a purple tie and that'll be his signature suit.
Maybe. It feels, given that Giovanni already has Mewtwo, it would feel odd to me if they
make another pair.
Yeah, if they made another Mewtwo pair, that would seem a bit
odd. I was saying this to Mecha that, current Mewtwo is just already insanely powerful, and it has been since the dawn of time, so like...
Yeah, it was always top tier, and I think it's having a really Mega Evolution over the edge.
And then maybe having more boosted stats on top of that Mega Evolution is just going to be borderline, meta breaking, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, but I think we've got to the stage of Pokemon Masters where we have quite a lot of broken sync pairs, and the game's content has never been difficult to the point that it's unbeatable, even with, the regular sync pairs. Forget Master Pairs for a second. You can still beat most stages with a decent team, and lots of people are still maintaining free-to-play clears on all the content. So until that isn't a possibility, until you can't beat content with even free-to-play sync pairs, I think the number of overpowered sync pairs is kind of irrelevant. We've hit the point now where there are enough sync pairs who could clear every bit of content on their own, and there's more than one of those types of sync pairs. So
I think that's more of a compliment to how DNA have designed their game to not make it pay to win. Because obviously I will argue there are like difficult, like Cresselia, for example. You can clear that with free to play pairs, but it is still insanely difficult even if you're not using free to play pairs.
Absolutely, and I think it's very interesting how they've managed to, on a difficulty scale, not make it revolve around a single sync pair, but there are other ways that incentivize you to actually pull for new characters, like the boost to the drop rates and things like that. So, from a difficulty perspective, honestly, I think it's more than fair to say, pick who you like and play with who you like. And
Mm,
if they do make Giovanni that bit more powerful, I think I'd be all for it.
yeah. The game's about fun at the end of the day, like you allude to. So yeah, just have fun with your sync pairs. And I think we're going to get this story in about 10 days, at least the like sort of prelude into the main story now, the second main story of Pokemon Masters. So be excited. But yeah, it's been a good 2-year anniversary. I mean, the sync pairs we got were not as actually strong as what we got with Maxi and Archie. But that's not a terrible thing. Like you said, it's all about getting to know the stories behind the sync pairs with the characters, and I think we've got that with these three. And
Yeah,
also
I
we
think
got
we
like
definitely.
Misty and Psyduck. Like, how can you not like that?
Yeah, and for me, I think that's almost more exciting for me than, for example, like Lily and Lunana, just because it's Misty and Psyduck is such a staple. Like it's such a shining moment in the anime, in particular, their relationship, and to have that kind of captured in the game is very special.
Excellent. Hey, have you got anything more on Pokemon Masters before we move on?
Yeah, make sure you got paracetamol before you start battling with Misty and Psyduck.
That's very niche. We're gonna move on. Okay, I kind of botched that transfer, but you know what? We haven't got a Pokemon Unite segment sort of jingle yet. Do you have one?
Let's unite for Pokemon Unite. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm on the fly. What do you want from me?
Okay, Pokemon Unite. So, Amit was going to fly us all out to Japan for an online tournament. God damn it, Amit. You were like this. I was thinking it's like this huge.
So, hang on. It's an online tournament.
Yeah.
Tick.
Yeah.
But you have to be living in Japan to enter.
Have you heard of a VPN before?
Listen, you want to test a VPN on a game where timing is essential? Be my guest.
You did it with the Canadian beta.
Yeah, but the beta, I wasn't playing competitively in the beta. I was just playing for funsies.
But well, guess what else you need to do? You need to register on the official website, and you need to know Japanese. That's one of the rules.
Yeah, that seemed like such an odd entry requirement that knowledge of Japanese was a requirement to enter.
I still can't believe that you wanted us to fly out to Japan.
Like,
I legitimately, in my mind, I thought it was like this big tournament. I was thinking, oh, for some reason they've gone against COVID safety rules and they're hosting this big tournament in an arena. We're going to get little tickets, little seats and stuff like that. And then when I read up about this, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
My disappointment was like, move on.
They're not going to. I mean, it's going to be, I think, heavily publicized, and it'll be broadcasted over lots of places.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it actually. Which actually brings me to my first point. This game's got longevity, hasn't it?
I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
How are you getting on? Where are you in terms of ranked?
I think I'm like, I think it's veteran 5 at the moment. But I usually just log in just to do my daily missions, obviously get the battle pass reward and stuff like that. But I have to be in a sort of like mood to sort of like go into ranked,
Because that means you're almost with what, 3 weeks to go, you're almost at ultra class.
Yeah, but like, I think one of the things with Pokemon Masters is that it's very easy, not Pokemon Masters, Pokemon Unite is very easy to get tilted.
Yes.
So like, unless you're gonna put like 2 or 3 hours for ranked, like I don't think there's much point in you trying to like level up or get to new ranks, if that makes sense. So
yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
I've only been doing it for like daily missions and stuff like that, and I've been quite lucky in the fact that I've had teammates who sort of understand the sort of rotations you need to do. Bottom for Dreadnought, then top for Rotom, and then just general defending, and obviously, like you said, keeping yourself alive is quite important. So
it'll take time, and this is obviously stuff that I've read, not being a MOBA expert, but it will take time for the rank system to actually filter the good players towards the top and the less experienced players down the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And the nature of the meta of Pokemon Unite not having really established in the community. That's the community of players, not just like the active members of the community. So knowing, for example, to come down for Dreadnought or when to hit Rotom rather than Dreadnought and things like that, mean that there's such a diverse pool of players in every tier of ranked, and not everyone who is in Masters or Ultra understands those concepts. And
Mhm.
it's very common to see, even at the highest levels of the game, people make exceptionally poor plays.
Potion, Mr.
And I
Mime.
think, listen, it's Mr. Mime should not be messed with, but Potion is not a good item. But it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting that they're adding new characters all the time. It's exciting that they are really trying to encourage people to, play regularly. It's a fun game.
Yeah, and surprisingly, like I didn't give it, a shot in hell for being like one of those games that I'd be sticking with for this long. And somehow I think I've maybe put 50 or 60 hours into it thus far.
Yeah, I think
it's quite
Sophie and
surprising.
I play probably like 15 games a week at least
Yeah,
together. It's great.
it's honestly been, and like how beginner friendly it's been. It's just, yeah, it just blows my mind, and I'm quite grateful that we've got a little community of our own that we get to play with. Phil and Rebecca, especially, joining us. So yeah, it's been fun. And I like, Pokemon Company were discussing about having sort of like multiplayer pillars. This definitely will be one of their biggest pillars when it comes to multiplayer and like tournaments. And who knows, we might actually see it in London, for one of the games that they showcase alongside Pokemon
I
Go.
think just in the esports world, it's
Yeah.
odd that like Pokemon VGC, obviously it's got its own channels for how it promotes itself and publishes and shows gameplay. But
Mhm.
actually, in the esports world, Pokemon has never really been at the forefront of everyone's minds. People think of League of Legends, Dota, Overwatch, whatever it is. Pokemon's not one of those things that's in a ring. And I think Unite has the ability to actually break into the more, formal and established esports environment. And obviously, the Pokemon Company will still have their own ways of promoting it and whatever. But I think it's a game that has legs to break into that kind of an environment.
Oh, definitely. I guess with how popular MOBAs are in general and the Chinese market, I think you're spot on there. And
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 I mean, we can't be a long way away from esports being something that's on TV, right? And I think that this is
wasn't
gives this.
ESPN, like, Rahul would know more about this than I would, but in terms of esports, I think it has been on things like ESPN
I think
now.
they have a specific esports channel actually.
Okay.
Um, but I think in the future when esports are heading even not just niche specific channels, but actually like the mainstream, like you turn on Sky Sports and there's an esports event on. And I think that this is the way that Pokemon will break into that world because
Mm.
I can't see it happening with the other formats they have, TCG, VGC, etc.
Well, Pokken Tournament is a prime example of that. Like a fighting game that you would expect to be all over the place really doesn't get that much coverage apart from like the main Pokemon channel whenever they
Yeah,
bring it out
It's
tournament.
odd that Pokemon Tournament never really got the legs that I think Pokemon Unite is getting. And that part of that will just be down to promotion and positioning. But
Mhm.
I wonder if the next Pokemon Tournament, if it's free to play and follows a similar model to Unite, I wonder how well that would do.
Well, it's not long till we've got the mobile version of Pokemon Unite sort of launching. I expect there's going to be a massive boom at that point, because
Yeah,
I
there'll be a
think,
boom of new players
yeah,
and players who won't know what they're doing. It'll be
yeah.
awesome.
Yes, very much so. Well, depends on how many people you've got in your own team, because like it could be very detrimental at the same time as well. But yeah, that's it for Pokemon Unite. You can probably expect us to talk about Pokemon Unite whenever there's a big patch or a new character added and whatnot. But yeah, that was Pokemon Unite, and we'll come up with some sort of jingle thingamajigs. But have you got anything else to say on Pokemon Unite at this moment?
This is awesome. That's it.
Blastoise is awesome. Cool. I like his top hat. Anyway, move on. Let me just clear my throat for this one. It's the unknown fact of the week with Amit.
One of my favorite things in the Pokemon universe is all of the different rumors and speculations. And there's probably nothing more iconic than the theory that Gengar is actually a dead Clefable.
Friend?
So the speculation starts by the similar designs for Clefable and Gengar. They have similar body shapes, pointy ears, and other than the variance in their hair, actually very similar bodies. And there's been lots of speculation that actually Clefable, when it passes, it was rumors for a time that Gengar was Clefable's shadow, But actually, as time has gone on and more and more people have looked into the various Pokedex entries and stories from all the games, actually the prevailing theory is that Gengar is actually a dead Clefable, come back from the dead to haunt people who mistreated it during its life. Now, the thing that makes this really interesting is that originally, when the Pokemon series was going to have Clefairy as its main Pokemon, as the protagonist main Pokemon, Gengar could have been seen as like the ultimate dark force in a very yin and yang style relationship. And it goes on to the fact that, Gengar, being a ghost type, can't hit the normal type Clefairy, and Clefairy, the normal type, or Clefable, the normal type, couldn't hit the ghost type Gengar. It's a very yin yang relationship, and probably would have been a more significant part of the story had they not reverted to Pikachu as the face of the face of the franchise.
What you're telling me right now is that Pokemon Evolutions, December 23rd, with Leaf, is actually going to be a story about yin and yang. You might have cracked it before it's even come out.
It's just crazy to me that these two Pokemon are so deliberately designed to be paired together, and I think that we just lost the real crux of that story when they swapped Clefairy out for Pikachu as the mascot for the series.
Do you think they only brought Pikachu because of the pun? Like, I choose you.
I hope not. Oh, I hope not. I mean, there was lots of interviews and things like that have been published where they've talked about the fact that Clefairy was just not gender neutral enough. It skewed too feminine. And they wanted the Pokemon franchise to appeal to both male and female, and they thought Pikachu would do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is fair enough, given how we've seen the franchise take off and the popularity of Clefairy versus Pikachu. I think a lot of that is just down to the fact that Pikachu is a more gender neutral Pokemon in terms of preference.
The producers actually had some concerns about Pikachu too.
That wouldn't surprise me.
They thought Pikachu was a stalker. Do you know why?
No.
Because he peeks at you.
Oh God! I knew it was coming. I just knew I was walking into it. Thank you for that.
We'll move on. Amit, it's been 5 months, and I can't believe I'm asking you this question. Where the Helioptile is Pokemon Sleep?
There's actually been a development.
Hello.
While we were away, there was an actual development in Pokemon Sleep. Forget all the puns, forget all the jokes. This is the groundbreaking Pokemon Sleep news. In April 2021, the official Japanese Pokemon website registered an SSL certificate for a Pokemon Sleep subsite.
Oh God, this is not some joke.
No, this is actually no joke. This is real, right? So for those of you who don't know, SSL certificates are the way you encrypt websites to make them HTTPS secure or compliant. And it's basically a way of encrypting your connection. It makes it more basically more secure for people to use. And earlier this year, the Pokemon Company actually registered the certificates for a Pokemon Sleep subsite. So do you know what? It might still be coming. They're still working on it.
My mind is blown, and I have got an appeal now going out to the audience. If there's any hackers who can potentially get onto this website and get some information for us.
Do not hack.
Do not hack. Yeah, do not hack the Pokemon Company. What was I thinking? But yeah, if by some unfortunate accident that information leaks, just let your friends at the PokeRamble know first. So
it baffled me that there was nothing about it in the Pokemon Presents earlier this year.
No, not even a mention.
Not even like we know you're. It's still getting attention. Like there's still lots of people clamoring for it, and every time a Pokemon Presents comes out or there's some news, there's a good audience of people saying, "Where's Pokemon Sleep? Where's Pokemon Sleep?" And I was just hoping that in the background of the Pokemon Presents shot, when they have all the plushies, there would have been just something that was like
sleeping Pikachu. There's been like sleeping Pikachu figures and stuff.
Yeah, or just our what do we call it? It's not our logo, right?
Just a sleeping Pikachu emote,
Yeah, that's it. The emote, the sleeping Pikachu emote.
Just like the little official Pokemon Company just drops it in the chat, and you're like, oh, okay, I see you. Yeah.
am so surprised that there was actual development while we were away from air.
Maybe that's what they just needed some space from the Poke Ramble podcast to get their heads together. And
they need us to stop clamoring at them.
Yeah.
What's really interesting, though, about the registration of a Pokemon Sleep subsite is that it could mean that this is more than just a gaming app, and there might actually be some wellness capability that requires a web interface. So you look at things like, I don't know, MyFitnessPal or sleep trackers, and they all have ways for you to log your data, set goals, manage your profile, etc. Maybe Pokemon Sleep, as well as having the gamification element, is actually going to have some genuine hardcore wellness built into it. Hence why they need the subsite.
Pokemon Sleep, you can't get out to bed before doing like 10 push-ups or something. Oh no. Press ups.
I'm really excited to see
or sit-ups.
It's been over 2 years. Over 2 years, and we've heard nothing.
There's so much going through my mind at the moment, just trying to think why it's been 2 years and we've heard nothing. Not even a mention. Not even a cheeky haha, COVID ruined our plans, lol. Just
and we've said on previous podcasts, like, that would be an acceptable thing for them to come out and say. Like, they could have just said, look, Pokemon Sleep was not highest on our agenda. We had to push resources that we had available to Arceus Legends.
Because there is like a hardware element to it as well, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think the absence of news is more frustrating than even just a look, it's delayed and you're going to have to accept that.
It's been so long since I had a good night's sleep. So long. Someone help me.
We need.
I have got a theory though, and I think I'll bring it up next week. But I've got a theory as to where it might be at. So I'll have to write this down so I don't forget. So yeah, that's been the Poke Ramble podcast, episode 47, Pokemon Animation Evolutions. I've been your host Kamel, and he's been the Battle Frontier brain Amit. Anything you want to plug before we hop off?
Yeah, you can find us in all the normal places, twitch.tv/KamelH, every Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m. British Summer Time, which is 6:30 Universal Time. Come check us out. Hang with us live. Lots of people here today, and thank you, Rahul, for the raid. Lots of people here to hang out with us, which is always great fun.
Oh, you can find Rahula Hoop at RahulaHoop _ on Twitch and Twitter. Amit will no doubt put these links in the description.
Yes, I will.
If you need help with Genshin, any Genshin inquiries, or just like if you want to talk about, I don't know, the snow dope area is the best. Like, Rahul's your man. But yeah, that has been us for another week. If you're watching live, stay tuned because I've got a little surprise. But for the YouTube listeners, we'll see you next time.
I should also quickly say.
Oh God, yes.
We're having a few issues with our Spotify podcast platform account. So
please don't remind me.
We will get this published as quickly as we can.
Yeah,
but,
it'll be on YouTube.
You can find us on YouTube. Yeah, you can find us on YouTube.
What the hell's happening, Vanka? Nobody knows. But yeah, see you next time.